Good afternoon, class. I'm Divine Grace A. Nocella, who are reporting audio teleconference by Bell Labs in 1956. First, we need to know what is audio teleconference. Audio teleconference is a voice only, sometimes called conferencing call. Interactive links people in remote location via telephone lines. Audio bridges SIO lines together. Meeting can be conducted via audio conference. Distance learning can be conducted by audio conference. In fact, it is one of the most underutilized, yet cost-effective methods available to education. Instructors should receive training on how to best utilize audio conference to augment other forms of distance learning. Like this kind of situation, like this kind of pandemic, we need a gadget that we need in our education so that our requirements do well by meetings in our classes and those distance learning that we may encounter in audio conference. But also we need to utilize effectively in kind of education. Instructors are learning is the conduct of an audio conference, also called a conference call or audio teleconference, between two or more people in different locations using a series of devices that allow sounds to be sent and received for the purpose of communication and collaboration simultaneously. By purpose, wisely used in our education to communicate in our teachers, classmates, and family, also in different locations that we are. But you need a signal to communicate with each other. Conference calls, depending on how many people are involved and the purpose of the conference. These may be conference calls, ones that many toolbox users have probably been involved in. Like in many miles that you have you may probably make a conference call to each other. But you need to have a signal in that. And it depends on how people contact by each other. Next, advantage of audio teleconference. First, audio conferencing is a cost-effective communication tool. We need to use effectively a communication tool, the audio teleconference, because if you may fail at your meeting and any kinds of that. Second, audio conferencing is easily accessible. In any kind of communication, audio conferencing is easily accessible. By that, we need to access each other. Using audio teleconference may easily accessible and communicate to each other. Like our family, relatives, and friends. Number 3. Audio conferencing can save you a lot of time and money. Because audio conferencing is, even though you are going to work, while you are on the way to your work, you need to conference important. Ang sabi nga sa number 3, audio conferencing can save you a lot of time and money. Because in this kind of pandemic, you conferencing call by only your load, your regular load to make call or to make communication to each other. The disadvantage of teleconference is the communication is only verbal. Why? Studies show that effective communication is always nonverbal. Yeah. Yet, audio conferencing is only verbal. The communication means doesn't support visual images, so you can see and understand the facial expression, eye movement, and body language of the attendee you are talking to. One way to solve this problem is to select the audio and video conferencing system to replace it. By utilizing a free audio-video conferencing software, katulad na lang ng mga ginagamit natin sa online class. We use video conferencing in in class so that yun yung disadvantage naman ng audio conferencing. Hindi natin nakikita kung paano nagsasalita like me. Like this kind of pandemic, we need to be visualize our conferencing by voice and visual. To make this effective and efficient, to more productive in our communication. Number 2, audio conferencing cannot keep you focused on the meeting. Yes, right. Somehow, in any kind of situation, you can focus in the meeting while you are talking in a conference call. So that this make you disadvantages. Since you can see the visual images of participants during a conference call, so you don't know whether your audience or you're talking to is carefully listening to you or just sitting on the toilet like that. Under such circumstance, audio-visual video conferencing from Zoom like that, Zoom, Google Meet, is great alternative to you. Voice and visual conference forces participants to focus on the task during the meeting because they are exposed to the camera. So that audio conference cannot keep you focused on the meeting. Kasi, minsan, katulad na lang for example nung pinsan ko, nag-online class siya ng via audio teleconference. Hindi nakaka-focus yung pinsan ko dahil but with video conferencing, you need nakaka-focus siya kasi nakikita ng teacher niya kung anong ginagawa niya sa online class nila. Yan ang may mahirap sa mga ibang participants. Hindi mo nakikita kung ano ang mga ginagawa ng iyong tinuturuan. Number 3, the quality of conference call is not reliable. At times, the sound transmission may be of poor quality during the audio conferencing as it mainly relies on the telephone lines. The background noise can also affect the audio conferencing or even cut you out. For my own experience, while habang nag-online class kami, minsan, with audio conferencing and video conferencing, we can understand each other because sometimes yung iba hindi hindi naiintindihan ang sinasabi ng teacher namin or yung mga in-explain ng teacher namin sa isang lesson namin. Kasi yung iba, background nila minsan is maingay. Sometimes yung iba nagdi-disconnect because of the low cost of internet. They don't have good quality of internet like that. Now, we go on to the history of conference call. It start in 1844, Samuel Morse sent the first telegraph. In 1849, Antonio Meucci have invented the first basic phone way back in the year of 1949. Just first later, a freshman, Charles Burcell, devised another phone in 1876 that the man whose name probably springs to mind made his famous technological offering. In that year, Alexander Graham Bell won the U.S. patent for the telephone. The earliest conference call is said to have happened way back in 1915. It was once again our friend Alexander Graham Bell. In the earliest instance of a special device used especially for phone conferencing may be the Jordaphone, invented by Asin Yordanov, a Bulgarian in 1945. Teleconferencing is Bell Labs was the first work on the concept of teleconferencing around 1956. Then it was in early 1960s, the American Telephone and Telegraph AT&T dabbled with teleconferencing. The device used was the picture phone. It was publicly exhibited in 1964 at the New York World Fair. Now, this is the last. I'm saying goodbye and thank you for listening to me.